I used to lie awake at night and just stare at the ceiling. Not because I was worried about something specific, not because something bad had happened, just because that voice in my head wouldn't stop talking. You know the one I'm talking about. That quiet, persistent voice that shows up right when things are supposed to feel okay, right when you've finally done something you worked hard for, right when you should be proud. And instead of letting you have that moment, it leans in and whispers, "Is this enough? Are you enough? I'm 25, and I feel like I've been trying to answer that question my whole life." There's this thing that happens when you grow up in this generation. I don't think people talk about it enough. We were handed the entire world through a 4-inch screen before we even knew who we were. We watched people our age building companies, going viral, traveling the world, falling in love in cinematic ways. And somewhere in between all of that, somewhere between the highlight reels and the comment sections and the follower counts, we started measuring ourselves, constantly, against everything and everyone. And I'm not blaming social media. I'm really not. Because honestly, that comparison thing, that need to prove yourself to someone, it was there before the internet. It's in us. It's ancient. But I think for our generation, for Gen Z specifically, it got turned up to a volume that most of us don't even realize we're hearing anymore. It just became background noise. The constant hum of, am I doing enough? Am I becoming enough? Do people see me as enough? I felt it at 18 when I took my first real job and it paid almost nothing, and I told myself that was temporary, that I'd figure it out, but in the back of my mind, I was already comparing myself to people I went to school with who seemed to have it all figured out at 19. I felt it at 22, when a relationship I thought was going to be the one fell apart, and my first thought, I'm embarrassed to admit this, wasn't about grief. It was about what it meant about me. Like her leaving was some kind of verdict, like it confirmed something I already suspected about myself. I felt it every single time I posted something and watched the numbers like they were a scoreboard. Like approval from strangers was somehow proof that I was on the right path. And here's the thing about that voice, it doesn't stop when you achieve things. That's the part nobody tells you. I thought it would. I genuinely believed that at some point I'd cross some invisible finish line and the voice would finally go quiet, that I'd finally feel like I'd proven myself to my family, to my old friends, to some imaginary audience that I'd been performing for my whole life. But the questions don't stop. They just change shape. I remember this one afternoon. I was sitting in my car after a really good week, like genuinely good. Things were moving. I'd made more money that month than I had in any previous month. I had a plan I believed in. People around me were starting to notice. And I sat there in that parking lot, engine off, and instead of feeling good, I felt this weird, hollow kind of anxiety, and I asked myself, okay, what's wrong? Why does this feel empty? And the honest answer that came back was, because you didn't do this for yourself. You did it so someone would notice. That hit me harder than I expected. Because when I traced it back, really traced it back, I realized that a huge portion of the energy I'd been putting into my life wasn't coming from a place of genuine desire. It was coming from a place of want. Want to be seen, want to be validated, want to walk into a room and have people think, yeah, he made it. And I don't say that to make myself sound pathetic. I say it because I think most people my age are running on that same fuel and they don't even know it. The mental load of constantly performing a version of yourself that you think other people want to see, it's exhausting in a way that sleep doesn't fix. You can go to bed tired and wake up more tired. Because the body rested, but the mind never stopped performing. The shift for me didn't come from a book. It didn't come from a conversation. It came from one really, really bad week where everything kind of collapsed at once. And in that week, I had no performance to give. There was nothing to show anybody. I was just Me, struggling, quiet, not impressive. And something strange happened in that silence. I started noticing things I'd stopped noticing. The way the light comes through the window in the morning, the actual taste of coffee, a random song that hit me in a way I hadn't let music hit me in years. Small, ordinary, completely unremarkable moments, and for the first time in a long time, I was actually present for them, not filming them in my head, not thinking about how to describe them later. Just there. And I thought, wait, this feels like something. Not success, not validation, not proof of anything, just being alive and actually feeling it. That sounds so simple when I say it out loud. Almost annoyingly simple. But I think that's the point. The things that actually sustain us are so simple that we walk past them every single day on the way to chasing things that we think will finally make us feel okay. Here's what I want to say to you. And I mean this in the least lectury way possible, because I genuinely hate when people talk at you like they've solved something you haven't. The voice in your head that keeps asking if you're enough. It's not your enemy. It's not broken. It's not something you need to destroy or silence. It's just a part of you that never learned that it was already safe, that you were already allowed to take up space, that your value doesn't have a scoreboard. The mental weight of trying to prove yourself to someone, to anyone, is one of the heaviest things a person can carry. And most of us don't even notice we're carrying it because we picked it up so young. But here's what I've started to believe, slowly, imperfectly, on the good days and the hard ones. Life is not a performance review, and nobody's coming to approve you. Nobody is sitting somewhere keeping score of how impressive you are. Nobody is going to hand you a certificate at the end of all this that says you were enough. That certificate doesn't exist. And I think somewhere deep down, we all know that, but we keep searching for it anyway. Because the alternative feels terrifying. The alternative is just living fully, without the approval, without the proof, without the audience, and that's actually the whole thing. That's the whole secret that isn't a secret. I think about the moments in my life that I genuinely treasure, the ones that when I close my eyes and I'm somewhere quiet, I go back to. And not one of them is a moment where someone told me I was impressive. Not one of them is a metric or a milestone or a thing I can put on a resume. They're all just moments. A late night drive with someone I loved. A conversation that went until 4 a.m. because neither of us wanted it to end. A morning where I made breakfast slow, put on good music, and didn't think about any of it, just lived inside it. Those are the moments that actually feel like a life. And you can't manufacture them by trying to prove yourself to anyone. They only happen when you're actually here, present, not performing. I'm still working on this, I want to be honest about that. The voice still shows up. The questions don't stop just because you understand where they come from. Some nights I still catch myself measuring, still catch myself wondering how I look from the outside. But the difference now, the real difference, is that I can recognize it faster. And when I recognize it, I can choose. I can choose to step out of the performance for a second, look around, ask myself what actually matters right now, in this moment, today. Not in 5 years, not to someone watching from a distance, right now, to me. And usually the answer is something incredibly simple. Rest, laugh, call someone I love, eat something good, go outside, read something that has nothing to do with productivity, exist without justifying my existence. That's the thing about this generation, about our mental landscape. We were handed every tool to build a life, and somehow also handed every reason to doubt it. The questions don't stop from the outside. The world will keep asking you to quantify yourself, to optimize, to grow, to compete. But the only question that actually matters is whether you're here, whether you're showing up for your own life, not the version of your life that looks good on a screen, your actual life, the one that happens in ordinary rooms with ordinary light and unscripted moments that don't perform well but feel like everything. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone, not to your family, not to your past, not to some future version of yourself that you think will finally deserve to enjoy things once enough boxes are checked. You're allowed to enjoy it now. This, the imperfect, unfinished, still figuring it out version of right now. That's not settling. That's not giving up. That's actually the hardest and most courageous thing a person can do in a world that profits off of your feeling like you're not there yet. Be here. That's enough. That's always been enough.